With the airlift of Nigerian pilgrims expected to commence on the 30th of this month, the National Hajj Commission of Nigeria (NAHCON) has sealed a deal with the 4 airliners engaged to participate in the exercise.
May you continue to say it.
The airliners are Azman Airline, Max Airline, Medview Airline, and the Saudi-based airline Flynas.
This year's operation is quite...
Speaking at the event, Barrister Abdullahi Mukhtar stressed the importance of airlift in Hajj operation, urging the airliners to justify the confidence reposed in them.
Of course, airlift is one of the most important aspect of Hajj operation. No matter how beautiful you plan, if a single pilgrim could not be airlifted as a result of official inefficiency, that Hajj is not successful. We believe in your capability and competency to handle this operation in a swift and coordinated manner without compromising safety and comfort of the pilgrims.
Barrister Mukhtar further called on the airliners to cooperate with one another for the success of the airlift. Speaking on behalf of other airliners, Chairman of Medview Airline Alhaji Munir Bankole thanked NAHCON for giving them the opportunity to participate in this year's Hajj airlift, assuring the management that they will strive to make this year's outing the best ever.
And for the entire management of National Hajj Commission, the chairman and his able team, for God to continue to be of guidance and support to you, because God has bestowed on you a high responsibility to look after all the Muslims of this country, which you cannot quantify the numbers. This country is blessed, and we have seen tremendous improvement from this level of your administration, improvement day by day, success story day by day, and we hope this year will be the best.
In an effort to elicit better service among states, tour operators and other service providers during Hajj, the National Hajj Commission of Nigeria (NAHCON) will henceforth commence the award of excellence to those who excel. For a start, the Commission during its National Stakeholders Conference and NAHCON 10th year anniversary presented awards to state and tour operators that excelled in the following areas during the 2016 Hajj. They are e-track registration, pilgrims education, accommodation, luggage management, feeding, and Turadudiya. Lagos State emerged best for e-track, Kano State on pilgrims education, and FCT was best on accommodation. For feeding, Kwara State came first while Bauchi excelled in luggage management. Overall, Lagos outclassed all the 36 states while Omeral Travel and Tours was ranked the best for tour operator. Some of the beneficiaries expressed joy for the awards, saying it will encourage them to do more.
It's going to increase competition, but positively, and it will, at the end of the day, be better for the Hajj operation and Hajj performance in Nigeria.
The companies in Nigeria should not allow Comerel to collect the award for next year. So let us all vie with one another in serving the guests of Allah, give them the best that we can offer.
I believe those that are within the family will continue to make sure that they put more efforts in order to excel in those areas, and therefore creating a convenient environment for competition, and therefore at the end of the day you find that efficiency and excellence is the key word.
In a related development, NAHCON also honored its pioneer chairman and the current minister of FCT, Alhaji Muhammad Bello, as well as the head of the Nigerian Pilgrims Board in 1978, Alhaji Saidu Barda. Journalists covering the 2017 Hajj have been urged to always observe the ethics of the profession in their reportage. A former Director General of the Nigerian Press Council, Mr. Bayo Atoyebi, stated this in a paper he presented during a one-day interactive session organized by NAHCON to sensitize its 2017 Hajj national media team. The paper, titled "The Role of the Media in Effective Coverage of Hajj Exercise," highlighted among others the need for deeper investigation of information.
The basis for most negative reports these days, and basically sensational, are on the social media. And you need to be very careful. There's a tendency sometimes for us, when we are a little bit lazy, we tend to take news from the social media and we take it. If you do so, you will be taking a very dangerous chance, because our time-tested profession requires of us to ascertain the veracity of information.
The presenter also called on journalists to give more priority to the enlightenment of pilgrims on what Hajj is all about.
And where that news...
Earlier in his address, NAHCON chairman Barrister Abdullahi Mukhtar explained why NAHCON is hosting the workshop.
The need for us to come together and sensitize ourselves that Hajj exercise should not be treated like the normal conventional activity, and it should not be placed on that scale of reporting pattern, because there are transborder activities and there are issues that involve two nations or even more. There are issues that affect the integrity of personalities. There are issues of societal values. There are issues of security concern, and there are issues of diplomatic relations.
Barrister Mukhtar then called on members of the team to work harmoniously for the interest of Nigeria. After the interactive session, which was presided over by NAHCON Director of Administration, Dr. Ibrahim Sodengi, journalists fielded with some of the participants on the impact of the program in relation to their duties.
It has educated some of us on what we didn't know until now. It has made us to remember some of what we have known but we have forgotten. And thirdly, now it has set up a new standard for Hajj coverage.
For some of us that are going for the first time, I think this is very crucial. It acquaints us with the basics, basic knowledge of what is expected of us.
It is very important that whoever is going to Hajj supposed to prepare, including we, the journalists.
The Senate and the House of Representatives are still making efforts to find ways through which the 2017 Hajj Fair can be reduced. Towards this end, the National Assembly has been inviting stakeholders to discuss the causes of the increase in this year's Hajj Fair and ways of reducing it to make the Hajj affordable to more intending pilgrims. The Senate Committee on Foreign Affairs, led by Senator Mansurat Sumonu, is expected to submit its report after collating information from stakeholders, including NAHCON. On his part, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Honorable Yakubu Dogara, constituted an investigative ad hoc committee under the leadership of Honorable Mohammed Bago to hear from stakeholders and the general public reasons for the 2017 Hajj Fair increase. On Wednesday, the 12th of July 2017, Speaker Yakubu Dogara, represented by the House Chief Whip, Honorable Alhassan Ado Dogwa, declared open the committee's public hearing.
I hereby formally inaugurate this ad hoc committee and wish us fruitful deliberations.
In his remarks, the Speaker expressed happiness for the interest shown by all stakeholders on the matter.
I am delighted to participate in the opening session of this fact-finding hearing. Let me formally appreciate the efforts of all stakeholders who have made their time to attend this all-important event on this issue of national importance premised on public accountability. On Wednesday, July 7th, 2017, the House deliberated on a motion on the need for intervention of the federal government in the exorbitant fares proposed for the 2017 Hajj Fairs, HR 248/2017, and resolved to set up a ad hoc committee to investigate the matter and report its findings to the House for further legislative action.
The Speaker urged the committee members and stakeholders to be constructive in their contributions towards realizing the objectives for setting up the committee.
I urge all members of this committee to exercise the highest level of integrity and carry out this national assignment with all seriousness of purpose. At this juncture, let me also implore stakeholders to make their ample contributions towards providing solutions in realizing an affordable and functional fare for the 2017 Hajj.
After the Speaker's speech, Chairman of the Ad Hoc Committee, Honorable Mohamed Bago, highlighted the committee's terms of reference.
To interface with stakeholders in respect of the recent hike in the 2017 Hajj fare, this committee was mandated by the resolution of the Parliament. Considering the magnitude of this investigation, the committee will examine causes of the hike in this year's Hajj fare and ensure that the Parliament has contributed its quota towards the attainment of positive results on the matter.
The Commission just don't sit down.
In his submission, NAHCON Chairman Barrister Abdullahi Mukhtar said the Commission consults widely with service providers before arriving at any Hajj fare.
The Hajj fare for each year shall be announced by the Commission after due consultation with relevant service providers and obtaining the consent of relevant organs of government. I want to explain here that the Commission, in addition to the acts that establish it, periodically we used to, as regulator, issue guidelines on each and every segment of Hajj. And under one of the guidelines, which I just quoted, clearly state our role in terms of Hajj fare. The Commission just don't sit down, fix figures, but consult widely. Where we're supposed to get government's approval, we do, before any announcement.
Barrister Abdullahi Mukhtar highlighted some of the measures taken by NAHCON to bring about a reduction in the Hajj fare.
What we do this year, unlike the previous years, is to subject each state pilgrims welfare board and agency, including the armed forces, to appear before a panel which I presided over. Give us your own local component of the charges you intend to apply for this year's Hajj. These are the federal component as agreed by the various committees set up. We scrutinize each and every local component by the states. I want to tell you, and the state are here to bear us witness, no state of the federation got what they want in terms of even the local charges. We try to reduce the local charges to the barest acceptable minimum that we believe we can stand before anybody, before the pilgrims, and defend that charges.
He also talked about the impact of the dollar exchange rate on the Hajj fare.
The total dollar component needed by the pilgrim to perform this year's Hajj has reduced. But the total, the Naira exchange rate for this year is 305. For each dollar, which means there is an increase of 108 Naira. Honorable Chair, honorable members, the Commission doesn't have control over the issue of exchange rate. The highest we can do is to apply for special consideration, and government can only grant us approval of what it believes it can afford.
Stakeholders from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, the Armed Forces and Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority spoke at the hearing.
As it is clear that the major components of any Hajj exercise are choice of air carriers and their capacities, cost of aviation fuel, unconventional nature of Hajj flights as aircraft return empty, although some are alleged to ferry cargoes, landing, parking and airport fees, securing of visas, air tickets and related, exchange rate of Naira to the United States dollar, accommodation and local transportation of pilgrims, feeding of pilgrims while in Saudi Arabia, and length of stay of pilgrims in the Holy Land. It is expedient to therefore state that if relevant information and transparent analysis on the enumerated items above were disseminated on time to the public and all stakeholders, the outcry on the hike would have been minimal.
I want to assure you people that we have come with the chairman of National Hajj Commission. The Hajj Commission happens to be one of the agencies under the SGF. This is the main reason why we are here, to give support to him, to explain the reasons why we are here.
NAHCON consulted NCAA seeking the technical opinion on the feasible fares. And we take all the indices, the direct operating cost, which is almost a 10-item, unaffordable. They are both historical and current. We found out that all the flight that is more than 5 hours should not be less than 1,700. Why? The Hajj flight operation has its own peculiarity, different from the normal flight and from normal fare, because it is a 4 rotation.
Where an airline has...
Also at the hearing were representatives from the 4 airliners that will participate in the 2017 Hajj airlift operations.
During Hajj, where an airline has 10,000 passengers to carry, they have to probably import 10 sets of crew from abroad. And that payment is dollar-based. The aircraft payment is dollar-based.
Because Maiduguri and Yola are very close to Saudi Arabia, so the fare should come down. But we forgot to realize that there is no fuel in Maiduguri and Yola. So whatever fuel you are taking out of these 2 states, which amounts to the same thing. It's either you come from Kano or you come from Lagos.
And if you are going to lease an aircraft, they will definitely ask you to pay hours, not total number of what you are going to pick. And this is what is giving difference between the scheduled flight operators and Hajj charter operation. You lease aircraft, you will not lease aircraft less than 500 hours. That is 250 hours first phase, and then second phase also 250 hours. Nobody will give you aircraft less than that, and wide-bodied aircraft for that matter.
The committee also took submissions from tour operators, State Pilgrims Board executives, as well as Trades and Entrepreneurs Association.
What our national chairman has said earlier, that he make clear consultation with all stakeholders before any decision is taken by NAHCON. That is rightly true. As far as negotiations with manufacturers of suitcases, we at state level, we do negotiations and submit report to NAHCON.
The official exchange rate of 197 in 2016 to 305 to US dollar in 2017. If this is translated into percentages, that is about 55% hike in dollar. So whatever price we talk about, that 55% will surely manifest in high costs.
While some of the committee members asked questions, some made comments on the issues raised.
From all indications, this particular issue needs political solution. It's a political issue. And since it is a policy matter, I can guarantee you that since the House found it necessary to empanel this particular ad hoc committee, we will go all the way to make sure that we recommend and insist on political solution to this matter.
In any case, Mr. Chairman, I think the issue really is, like the first speaker has spoken, what we are after is to see how best we can do to get a reduction. But how we are going to do that is what this committee is going to look at. Thank you very much.
We should find a way. What the man on the street wants
is reduction of cost. And I believe if we are sincere, if we close the door, we'll find a way of reducing this cost, one way or the other.
There was one very, very important thing which the chairman said in his statement during the first post-Hajj meeting. And if that has been pursued, I think this exchange rate thing would have really dropped down. And I want to remind you, Mr. Chairman, that during that meeting, you were talking of pursuing a Naira real parity rather than going through dollars. And I remember myself, my chairman, and all those members of our committee, we said we will support you in that.
Suko for the intending pilgrims.
Making his remarks at the end of the hearing, Chairman of the committee, Mohammed Bago, appreciated all stakeholders for their contributions, saying the committee will extend invitation to the presidency and CBN for further deliberations.
This committee will go always to make sure that we get Suko for the intending pilgrims.
I don't know what the Commission is doing this year to prevent.
How often has the National Hajj Commission embarked?
How can they make it more comfortable? At the national level, the National Hajj Commission of Nigeria,
there are 6 days in which the Hajj rites are performed.
So we have put in place mechanism to ensure that on each flight, at least we should have, as much as possible, the medical personnel to accompany the pilgrims.
From 2007, gone. This problem is gone.
And what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said is this Hajj is compulsory at least once in a lifetime.
Aziz Asani sent in the first message with a GSM number 0701 923 9905. The message reads, "We thank God for making progress in Hajj management in Nigeria. May Allah grant all the 2017 pilgrims across the world a successful Hajj." Elamin Shuaibu sent in the second message through a GSM number 0802 425 9045. Elamin Shuaibu says, "I am happy with the proposed Hajj Institute which NAHCON wants to establish. This will help professionalize Hajj activities in Nigeria."
لك الملك لا شريك لك لبيك اللهم لبيك لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك إن الحمد والنعمة لك الملك لا شريك لك لبيك اللهم لبيك لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك إن الحمد والنعمة لك الملك لا